Yeah, so what we see today, Internet of Things being the cornerstone of smart cities. Those small devices being connected throughout the different infrastructure components of a smart cities. Talking about bridges, streets, all these kind of even buildings, all these different components of this, of a smart city, and those small devices enable each component to be aware of itself first and aware of each other. So they're able to work together in a way that helps utilization of resources in a smart city in a way that's more optimized to the huge urbanization that we see in today. In banking in particular, we see huge use of Internet of Things in various aspects. I think the first thing we see is with the mobile banking and with the mobile payment. New technologies like Apple Pay, for example, is a case in point where Internet of Things enabling card transaction much more secure way that bring in biometric authentication along with the actual transaction in a way that's anonymized, in a way that bring in security to a different layer with hiding the actual credit card number, so it takes liability from merchant while it conduct the transaction very seamless way. That's in banking. In other industries, we see Internet of Things taking a big step in industrial revolution kind of thing, especially when you start looking at optimization of processes with the manufacturing companies, big companies like GE, like Caterpillar, and those kind of companies. They start using Internet of Things to increase precision of the manufacturing process while reducing the overall cost. So this is extremely important, especially when we start talking about a situation where the economy is much more based on reducing the overall cost of operation to increase the profit margin. So any discussion about Internet of Things is actually a discussion about data for the most part, it's about data and the data confidentiality. With all these Internet of Things devices, we see a huge amount of data that we have not seen before. So companies today have a huge burden to ensure that they are securing those data that they haven't seen before. Most of those data could relate to the actual manufacturing process or the logistic within each company. So if these data are exposed, it will be very much detrimental to the company. So security of those massive data is very important. Other thing that we're seeing with Internet of Things, like especially from a consumer point of view, we see Internet of Things embedded within cars, within medical devices, within the various things, and ensuring that those devices are secure, so no one can tap into it remotely, and force the device to take a decision different from what it should have taken. That's very vital. So these are the challenge that we see from a security point of view. When you talk about finance, especially in the banking industry, banking is all about trust. It's vital for any banking organization to ensure that they maintain trust with the customers. So if that trust is breached by any way, that affects the bottom line in a way that more than we see in other organizations. However, security is important for all other organizations. We've seen breaches within government, like we've seen with a recent breach in U.S. and all around the globe. The way that we take security today is completely different than what we've taken it before. And what I mean by that, we've seen nation-state attack, countries attacking each other. We've seen companies like being the target of those attacks, and they're just sitting in the middle between two countries conflicting with each other, like we've seen with the Sony attack, for example. So the term security today means completely different thing than what meant several years ago, and it's a level that takes not just a board level, sometimes it takes beyond the board level, like we've seen with the situation with Sony, for example, where it went all the way to the government level. The biggest challenge we see in security today is the human capital, the resource, the knowledge that is still not there today. If you remember during the recession that we have back in the US, almost all different fields of industry did have a problem with the recession, except when it came to security. We actually had more job opening than what we had supplies, right? So that's continued to be the case, and when we see innovation like Internet of Things and different things coming into the picture, drones and these kind of things, security becomes front and center for all these different industries. So I think the challenge is there to continue. What we will need to win the current situation with this challenge is to start looking into bringing more resource to the market through collaboration with colleges and universities, through targeted program. We need to go beyond just the certification process that we're seeing today. We need to start at the university level.